Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Tuesday. A lot of things to get into today because, for those of you who may not know, the McDonald's All-American game, something that you may not have cared about for many years, but when John Calipari is your coach, suddenly it's a lot more interesting. That happens tonight, but also had some fun stuff that happened last night that we're going to get into. And, of course, Razorback baseball continues on with a midweek game tonight in Springfield. Call it a road game. But we have that going on. We also have some spring practice. We get to go and check it out here today, this afternoon. We also had a press conference yesterday between a few of the coaches and players we'll get into. And, of course, get into all of your chats here on the show today. But, fellas, it's Tuesday. How are the vibes here on this Tuesday afternoon?
The vibes are decent, above average, I would even say. I'm doing okay. I get in this point after basketball season. It takes me a little bit of time to mourn and get over it. The portal helps with that. The McDonald's All-American game tonight helps with that. We can see the future Razorbacks in action. So I'm doing okay. Slowly but surely I'm getting there. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a change of pace and checking out a little football today.
Yeah, I am as well. My vibe is kind of like the weather outside, where I'm not horrible. You know, I'm not storming or anything like that, but I'm just kind of, a little cloudy, decent. It feels good outside, but, not great. But no, I'm excited because we got the 3-sport crossover going on today. And thankfully, we have brains, so we're able to make that work, go watch some football, think about that for a little bit, watch the McDonald's All-American game, think about that for a little bit, and then watch Arkansas baseball, the most important game of the season right here tonight in Hammons Field.
I think it's the time of year where there's a lot going on, even though it feels like there's not much going on, but there is, and that's what makes it fun, is trying to go through it all and cover it all, and we're going to do our best to do so. So we're going to break it down and everything, but it is fun where last night, looking at McDonald's All-Americans game is tonight. And last night was like the dunk contest and all that, which we'll play a little bit something from that. But isn't it nice just to have an investment into the McDonald's All-American game? Because I felt like the entire time of my life growing up as a Razorback basketball fan, it was kind of one of those things that was there and it was awesome, but I never got to really enjoy or experience because it didn't matter to me. It didn't matter because Arkansas didn't really have any of those McDonald's All-Americans, and if they did, it was once in a blue moon. It almost felt like you look up in the hotel room and it's the presidential suite, and you're like, I'm never going to have a chance to get to that. But now it's like, hey, we're staying there every night because with John Calipari as your coach, you got not just one, but two, and in some cases three, maybe even more. And I know Muss did the same way, but I just feel like after the past 5 or 6 years, it's just nice to have investment and interest in the McDonald's All-American game because you as a Razorback fan have a lot of investment and interest in particular players, multiple, that are going to be playing in it in each and every year.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I like it. I prefer that. I got to be honest with you, when Arkansas was in that run where they weren't having any, I don't know how much I really paid attention to it, but I definitely have been the past few years. Sometimes it's more exciting than others. Obviously we had Anthony Black announced during all those festivities a few years ago, and you had Nick and Jordan Walsh, and that was really cool. And then, you had Bayfall that year, and you just didn't really see him out there much. And that was kind of maybe a premonition of things to come. But no, man, it's pretty cool. And I'm excited to see Jordan Smith Jr. and JJ Andrews get out there and mix it up with the best of the best. I thought the Sprite Jam Fest thing was kind of neat last night. I thought I might have just misheard. I thought Jordan Smith Jr. was doing the dunk contest. But it turns out JJ Andrews just did everything. If there's something he can participate in, that dude is in on it. I'm surprised he wasn't in the three-point contest. He wouldn't have done any worse than the other dudes who are out there shooting. They got beat by the Chicks, by the way. I mean, come on now. What are we doing here? But no, it was cool, man. It was cool to see those guys get out there and compete, and I'm looking forward to the game tonight. Can I just say, though, when we do this every single year, do not base your judgment and your expectations on these guys based on an exhibition basketball game tonight. Please don't do that.
Yeah, didn't Acuff kind of suck last year in the McDonald's All-American game?
Yes, he did.
I remember that being a thing because he went 1 for 5 from 3, and people were like, Acuff can't shoot. I'm like, yeah, let's relax a little bit. But no, I think this is a cool opportunity. And the dunk contest was a good dunk contest, as good as any of the ones the NBA has been rattling off here lately. I mean, you had Andrews with his cool little football player dunk. Yeah, the guy that dunked over. I usually am not a fan of the dunking over people thing. It's tough to make that look cool. the guy who did it last night made it look really cool. I think that's awesome. Yeah, with Ronald McDonald in there.
What a picture, man.
I like that one. I mean, it's just cool to see, kind of the next generation of athletes. And, just the other day, we were talking to Acuff and Malik Thomas about, hey, you remember over a year ago whenever you were at the McDonald's All-American game and you and Acuff were kind of getting a feel for each other and playing with each other and kind of knowing what that's like. And we've seen some clips of Jordan Smith Jr. and J.J. Andrews playing against one another in scrimmages, talking to each other outside of scrimmages. Like, I think this is a very important time period for those guys. I don't know how close they are, how much. I'm sure they've communicated a little bit before, but for those guys to get a little bit of a feel for each other. And also, you're representing Arkansas on the biggest stage possible for high school basketball, and that's awesome. And I appreciated J.J. Andrews representing his pops as well.
Yeah, it was awesome. In fact, for those of you who may have missed it, when it comes to creativity and all, this was a pretty great moment and a great dunk attempt and make, mind you, by J.J. Andrews last night. Take a watch. I mean, full pads and everything, guys. I mean, this is impressive stuff here.
Hey, good on Jordan Smith for taking the truck for him.
Yeah, man. Him and Brandon McCoy.
That's right. I'm sure nobody made a big deal out of that, right, Curtis? Nobody overreacted to that, right?
Right away, people were like, Brandon McCoy, you say? That's awesome, dude. And I saw some people were like, man, he's a cornball. This is corny or whatever. Well, of course it is. But don't you just get tired of seeing the same stuff recycled over and over and over in dunk contests? You got to be creative, man, and do something a little bit different. I thought it kind of sucked that JJ had to go after the girl because, listen, very impressive feat, the things that she was able to do in there, but that obviously just kind of it set the crowd off. You never want to be the person that has to go after that. If you're going to, you got to be super creative. So I don't know that I've seen anybody do that before. And the fact that he got it down and had the 360, a little bit of action there with it. First attempt. I love it. Truck sticked his future teammate. That's good stuff right there, man. I thought it was funny.
Not only have I never seen anyone do it, I've never even thought about that. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was a really creative idea, and the dunk itself was fine, but like I just never seen anybody do that, and especially for J.J. Andrews, I would imagine most people. I mean, I know me personally. The first time I heard of J.J. Andrews, the first thing I was like, "Oh, Sean Andrews' son. Wow, interesting. Okay, could he play football?" Like that was my first reaction. So I thought that was cool, and I think in these dunk contests, it's really hard to be creative because of how good dunkers have gotten over the years. It's like there's really nothing you could do that someone hasn't already done. Now there's something else that something that someone we never thought could happen that we have now seen happen.
Well, by the way, I was just gonna say real quick, I don't know if you guys watched the entire thing. His second round dunk attempt, had he got that down, he might have won the whole thing. He's like a 360 between the legs, and he tried it a couple times and came up a little bit short. Then he was running out of time there. If he would have got that down, that would have been sick. But I love the creativity. He gets a 10 for creativity for me for the first one.
Well, see, that's my thing is like even in like the NBA dunk contest, it's like no one's done that, and it kind of seems to almost make too much sense, like just how fun it would be. And I don't know how many dunkers could actually do a 360 type dunk with full pads on. Like, I mean, it's just I assume not many. So it was really cool to see. And I don't know what exactly is going to hold for his career and everything. I hope it's a great one in basketball. But hey, if basketball never works out, just hey, Silverfield, sign him up at tight end. Maybe he can be like the Matt Jones, play football and basketball. I'm sure Cal and Silverfield will totally allow that to happen, and they can just play both. But it just shows how freakishly athletic we all heard and know. But that's something that, like, again, I've never dunked the ball before, so I don't know. But I assume that it's probably takes some sheer power and athleticism to pull something like that off.
Can I? Yeah, I mean, how much does that helmet weigh? Can I make that my first question to Ryan Silverfield?
Yes.
Did you see J.J. Andrews dunk with pads on?
Yes.
See if we can just get that ball rolling a little bit. Did you watch the King of the Court thing they did, the little one-on-one tournament they did?
I heard about it, but I didn't get a chance to check it out.
Okay, so right before that, I forgot what they called it, something about the throne or I don't know, but there were 5 players, and it was basically a one-on-one, make it, take it. And it was a 5-minute running clock, and you get a point for a stop and, 2 or 3 points for a bucket or whatever. And you rotate through, whoever got the highest scores would wind up winning. And so JJ was in that. and he scored once, but it was like right at the buzzer. He was running out of time. He got to stop, and he went in there and scored, but it was too late. Missed a couple shots, whatever. But defensively, he was putting clamps on. And these are McDonald's All-Americans. It's like Christian Collins, Bruce Branch, a couple of the guys that are in there are like top 5-star level players. And JJ was putting the clamps on them dudes. So, and we know that, Jordan Smith Jr. is widely viewed as the best defender in his class. And JJ looked great doing that last night. So if you were irritated and you had enough of Arkansas's defense this past season, these youngsters are going to be able to rectify that in a big way. I was pretty impressed with that.
I also think, like, not to overreact to like 2.5 days worth of scrimmages and random little clips that are circulating on the internet, but I have been impressed with just how much JJ Andrews looks like he belongs out there from an athleticism standpoint, from just a vibe standpoint, size, and anytime. I mean, he's made a few plays here and there in these scrimmages, and it's kind of a it's a tough way to evaluate guys based on just this little setting here. But I mean, if you had no context and you just watched those scrimmages, like he doesn't look out of place at all. He absolutely looks the part there, and I think both of Arkansas's commits there are representing pretty well.
Yeah, and it's pretty great to see too, of just again having multiple guys and looking at the McDonald's All-American rosters for both sides, because I know that you're going to have certain schools that have multiple ones too. So it's not like Arkansas is just the only one, but Duke is going to always have representation. North Carolina is going to have representation. With all these schools,
Kansas,
but you also have Kansas, exactly. But you have a few of them that are undecided and all of that. But I did find it pretty interesting just looking at the schools that these some of these players are committed to. One, again, shout out to Muss, 3 McDonald's All-Americans on this roster going to USC, which is, of course, 2 of them, I guess, are brothers, but still impressive stuff there from Muss. And you also have Duke with a couple of them, but also, Missouri's got 2 of them as well. Mm-hmm. So they got 2 McDonald's All-Americans. I don't see any teams, though, not named Kansas, that start with a K, though. I don't see. That's weird. Yeah, it's strange how that happened. I don't know what happened there. But either way, I think it looks, just looking at it from the SEC perspective, you see in Alabama, you see even, of course, Missouri was mentioned. You see Texas there into the mix as well. So as far as SEC teams go, though, I mean, I guess that was what was surprising to me, is just not seeing a little bit more SEC representation than what we saw among a lot of these players.
Did Florida have one?
No, I don't know if they did. No, not according to the roster right here, and I'm looking at.
Interesting. Like, you figured that would be a hotbed with everything they got going on, but you mentioned those Missouri guys, by the way. Both those dudes are pretty good. The guard that they have, Crow, he won the 3-point contest, but I remember watching him on the circuit last year, and that dude is a bucket. And I saw that they've got Trent Pierce announced that he's coming back. They might be, despite their coach, pretty good next year. Missouri, that might be a team to watch, man.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the thing that was going to get Dennis Gates off the hot seat.
Exactly.
Like, you can't fire me. I've got these guys coming in. Well, now they made the tournament and they've got those guys coming in. And so, I think that's interesting. But I also got to be honest, if I'm an Arkansas fan and I'm looking ahead at the landscape of the SEC, I'm good with Missouri being like my biggest threat.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Yes.
Yeah. No question about it too. And that's the deal, is like, and it's some of these are of course going to some big schools too, as was mentioned, but that's what's always fascinating, is you see some of these, like one of them going to Oklahoma State. You got Anthony Thompson going to Ohio State. You got Caleb Gaskins going to Miami, doing that thing too. And then of course you have a few Arizonas, Texas, as mentioned. So it's just really fascinating to see like how some of these big time players, like, hey, why are you going there? Some of it makes sense, and some of it's like, okay, well, are they local? There's just a lot of questions that go around it. But I guess for the 3, assuming that this roster I'm looking at is correct, the 3 players that are undecided, you got Darius Bivens, you also have Brandon McCoy and Tyran Stokes. What's their situation as far as what they're looking at, or like what teams are in the running? Where are they going to probably end up at?
I don't know about the first guy. McCoy feels like he's Michigan bound. And Arkansas was on him heavily until they got Jordan Smith Jr. Tyran Stokes, probably Kansas. But if Bill Self winds up retiring, then Kentucky it feels like they've been running second for a long time there. I know Oregon's still involved. I know there's all the rumblings about Cal and Arkansas and everything like that. I don't see that happening or being the case. But as of right now, I would say Kansas for him.
I'm surprised Kentucky hasn't just gone all in, because I mean, it's not like they've allocated their high school recruiting resources elsewhere at this stage of the game. And kind of given the way everything is played out, I feel like they just need to give him a Godfather offer and just build their entire roster next year around him, which I don't know if would necessarily be like the best thing from a basketball standpoint. But I mean, you can't just come out of here with nothing, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, again, that's is so shocking. I don't want to make this about Kentucky, but it's almost like, I don't know if this is the fact, but they was like, just were so much with Cal forever about getting high school players. It's almost like, all right, we got to go so opposite. We can't go that route, because that's one of the things we didn't like about it. But I think Cal, that you'll give him credit. You know, Cal says a lot of things, and a lot of things that may go over my head or things that may not make sense. But the one thing that he's at least staying consistent on, he's like, I am going to recruit high school players at a high level, and I'm not stopping. And he's continuing that trend. And that's another cool thing about with Arkansas, as long as Cal's here, is I feel like we can all safely say there's going to be representation for the University of Arkansas and John Calipari in every McDonald's All-American game, no matter what. No matter if you got like 10 players coming back from the previous team. Well, we need 2 or 3 more. So they're going to be McDonald's All-Americans. Like, they're going to make that happen. So that's what I really like about it, too, is just the fact that it's always going to be involved with Arkansas.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a good spot to be in if you're a Razorback fan. I'm excited about these guys. I'm excited about next year's class, too. I think next year's class is better than this year's class is in terms of both depth and maybe top-end talent. Now, there are a handful of those guys who, because this upcoming draft cycle is going to be weaker, we'll probably see quite a few reclasses. And so that might add some more depth into what we have going on right now. Arkansas is involved with some of those guys as well in terms of big men. But yeah, it's cool, man. You know, for the longest, and I appreciated the way Mike Anderson went about his business, you know, because he'd wind up getting those, you know, rugged, never heard of them, but you just kind of maximize what you can get out of them, JUCO guys. And that led to some really, really cool stuff, man, and some players that I really enjoyed watching and some fun teams and everything like that. But it hits a little bit different when you're getting the guys who are going to be future lottery picks and everything like that. So I would prefer this, I guess you could say.
And also Abdu Torre, who obviously is not a part of the festivities this week.
Might be the best of the bunch.
I was going to say, man, I feel like he is positioned pretty well to be the most like underrated, you know, hog that everyone winds up loving more than they expected to love. Because I feel like a lot of people, obviously from the state of Arkansas, are fired up for J.J. Andrews. They've heard about him for years now. They've been hearing about him. Obviously, Jordan Smith Jr., as highly regarded as any player in the entire class. And so that's not one that takes too long to be convinced about. And I think a lot of people just haven't gotten to see Abdu Torre, you know, especially not in a setting like this. And I think he's going to be a guy that flies under the radar, so to speak. It's hard to fly under the radar as a 5-star, but I think Abdu Torre is doing that.
Yeah, and we'll continue our discussion on this as well and get to your chats here on the show too. But I want to remind everybody that OZK Insurance is the official insurance company of us here at Inside Arkansas, because they are an independent insurance agency, just like we're an independent media company. That means they're not just tied to one company. They shop a multitude of A-rated carriers to find the best coverage as well as the best price for you. And now that they've paired that with something that we all use each and every day of our lives, apps on our phone, not the appetizers, but the applications that we use on all of our cell phones. It's a full service mobile app, because with that insurance app from OZK, you can see all of your policies under one roof. It doesn't matter if it's home or auto, whatever it is that you have. You can pay the bills. You can request roadside assistance. You can file the claims. You can request policy changes, and you can even get new quotes, all from the easiness and convenience of your cell phone. It gives you the best part of an independent agent, which is choice, flexibility, and real people, as well as the convenience of modern technology, which is always big when it comes to convenience. So just, if you're tired of being stuck with that one carrier and just dealing with it and having to chase down paperwork and having to figure all these things out, and it makes just a nightmare to try to call people, get put on hold and all that nonsense, well, don't worry about it anymore. Just go to ozkinsurance.com. That's ozkinsurance.com, or you can search OZK Insurance in the App Store or Google Play. Local agency, national level options, one powerful app. That is OZK Insurance. And shout out also to OZK Insurance for being a official sponsor of the bombastic post-game. What do we got? We got a name for that, Andrew? Is it the post-game, post-series recap every weekend? I think is the best way to put it.
I mean, I guess I can workshop something a little bit, but every Sunday we're going to be doing live streams for baseball. It's going to be awesome.
There you go. Yeah. So they're official
Saturdays.
sponsor.
We're going to be doing a lot of Saturdays, because series end on Saturdays. Like half the rest of the series end on Saturday, but
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's like it's a crazy thing. So really appreciate them being a part of it, as well as some spring football coverage and everything. So shout out to OZK Insurance on that front too. And I was looking at of course, we were talking about the McDonald's All American game, and it's like what you're getting with that with some of the players, and then you throw in everyone's asking about, hey, what's the latest on the players and retaining and everything. I guess Curtis, I know you've talked about it, but I'm going to ask you anyways, as far as like the retention of certain players, how much of an impact is that actually going to have on the approach that they will make into this roster? Because some of it's like, okay, you need big man. Like that doesn't matter who you retain. But as far as like certain guards, say if Malik Thomas came back, something crazy like that. Like what's the approach and the impact on Cal? Because he doesn't like to wait around to the last minute unless he has to. So how's that going to work?
Yeah, I would say in the message I've been trying to portray on the pods in the morning, I'm focused on bigs right now. Like they're going to have to go get a starting 5 and a starting 4 regardless. Like that, like you said, that no matter who comes back or who leaves or whatever, they have to go do that. So we know that there will be multiple transfer portal additions or outside additions to the front court. Anything outside of that is dependent on who stays and who goes. Cause like I've heard all the scuttle out there, and I've heard too from people that I know that, hey, like Arkansas might be in the market to grab a shooter. The point I made on the pod today, well, if all these dudes come back, where is this shooter going to go? Like where is he going to fit in? Because if you have DJ Wagner and Jordan Smith Jr. and Billy Richmond and Carter Knox and JJ Andrews and Abdou Toure, that's like 7 bodies, and Isaiah Sealy, at the 1, 2, and 3. We really think Cal's going to add to that, knowing how he goes about his business. They had room to do it last year, guys, and that's why we were, tooting the horn for Lamar Wilkerson or, whoever else came available out there, and they didn't even make an ad then. So unless we get some guys who wind up entering the portal or who leave that we weren't expecting, that's not even talking about Malik Thomas, then I don't know where that fit would be. So I'm expecting 2 to 3 portal additions in the front court, pending what happens with Malik Euan. If he comes back, you get 2. If he doesn't, then you get 3. And anything else outside of that, it just depends on who stays and who goes.
Oh, and it's kind of messed up. And that's what last year when they finally released that video that officially announced that everyone that we thought was coming back, it kind of helped ease our conscience a little bit, because we're sitting here trying to figure out what we need, and we don't even know what we have right now. And so you got to get some of this definitive. And so I'm hoping for, I don't know what the timeline will look like, but I'm hoping we get some of those retention announcements just to clear everything up, because we kind of have an idea in our head. And weirdly enough, most of the guys that you're thinking about retaining are wings. And so it's like, honestly, if there's a one position Arkansas is probably not going to go after, it's not going to be a 6'6" guy who's athletic and has long arms. That probably isn't going to be where Arkansas goes. But yeah, I wonder if that means maybe a front court shooter, because you can just combine some of these things that Arkansas is kind of lacking and needs some help in. The guard position I think is interesting, because I saw someone in the chat earlier asking about, like, hey, is Jordan Smith Jr., like, is he really a point guard? Is he a shooting guard? Like, what's going on? You've got him and DJ Wagner. Like, are those going to be like the only real ball handlers on the team, or is Billy Richmond really like your third ball handler? Is that what it looks like there? And so it's going to be fascinating, and it's going to be interesting to see like how much emphasis Arkansas puts on retaining some of these guys. Will they go with the approach of getting transfers and then kind of having that as like, hey, you can either come back or you don't, DJ Wagner, but we're bringing in a guy. We're bringing in a shooting guard or whatever. It's going to be very interesting, but I hope we get some clarity on the retention soon so that we don't have to have these conversations of like, oh, should we get this guy and process this guy? Should we get this guy and process this guy? Should we tell him to go to the draft? I really just want to know what we have so that we can really have a conversation about what we need.
I feel like at this point, we've learned enough about John Calipari to know that he would go to the greatest lengths known to man to not go out and get a bunch of transfers. He'll get a couple because he has to. He understands that's a necessary evil, but I do not see a way on this world. He might retire before he goes and gets 4 or 5 transfers. So my hope is that they do retain a bunch of guys, and then you add your front court, and we just go to war here. But we'll see. You never know, man. He has gone out and added. I know he says now he likes to go get his bigs out of the portal because they're more mature and more physical and everything like that. Although he did that last year, and we all saw how it played out, right? But he's gone out and got shooters before out of the portal. He did it at Kentucky with like Antonio Reeves and Kellen Grady, and there's some other examples in there where he's just kind of gone out and got like a mid-major sniper out of nowhere. And so if Malik Thomas goes to the draft and one of these other guys maybe hits the portal or something like that, I would be open to that. But until we see it happen, I'm not even really paying all that much attention to it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, and it was funny because I'm almost getting greedy in the way where, if I'm not mistaken, when Cal first was hired at Arkansas, I know circumstances were different, but like bringing Nelly Davis, he was the #1 transfer out of the transfer portal class that year. And I think Jonas Adu was like #4 or something like that. But you had, as far as if you're looking at rankings and everything, 2 at least incredible transfer portal additions. So it's not like out of the realm of possibility that, you go out and you only focus on freshmen and retention, but then you just kind of get some average guys. Like Cal has shown he's capable, and this team and program has shown he's capable of getting some big time transfers. It's just a matter of hitting on them. And that's where I'm kind of getting a little greedy. I'm like, listen, high school class is great. It'd be great to retain these players, but that's what I want. I want to have the #1 player, because if you can be #1 in the freshman class, if you can be #1 in the retention class, if you want to call it that, I'm just making it up, but it's like I want to be #1 in the transfer portal class. And, that's not always the case, because then it's just about like, well, who's in the transfer portal? Like there could be some players that aren't even in it that don't fit what you need. Like, do you want the #1 point guard coming in from the portal if you already have a point guard? No. But man, that would be, again, getting greedy. That would be really cool if like the best big in the transfer portal, hey, comes to Arkansas. Then suddenly it just changes everybody's mind. But that's where I'm like, I have no idea what they're going to do. It would be really cool if they could say, hey, we got the #1 point guard here. We got these players coming back. And then, oh, well, by the way, we also added this big guy who's literally the best guy in the class. That would be a pretty cool thing, if you ask me.
They almost need to. I think there is something to be said for like perception, right? They almost need to go make a really splashy type of addition at the 5. Like after the way last year went down, kind of a statement of, hey, we get it. And we're gonna do our part, maybe financially, to make up for this. So I hope that winds up being the case. I'm open to a lot of different possibilities there, but everybody wants a monster, like just go get one or whatever. And also there's going to be a lot of, it's talking season, and everybody's got sources and there are rumors and everything. And I'm seeing some of it in the chat. And so, yeah, you're going to hear things like, well, somebody's trying to take Billy. Well, last year, Billy was already gone to Memphis. Remember, like he was transferring out. He's going to go play for Penny Hardaway. Well, that didn't happen. And DJ, it's Michigan State, right? No, it's Miami with Jay Lucas. No, it's St. John's. And then we have it on very good authority that it was never even under consideration that he was going to transfer out, after last season. So Trevin Brazile, I know that he was getting tampered with, and I know exactly who was doing it, and nothing ever came out about that. He might have been closer than anybody else. So you're going to hear a bunch of different things. That is the case for every good player on a college basketball roster in the country. Somebody is trying to get them to leave their situation and go somewhere else. You got to trust that John Calipari is not going to let Billy Richmond walk over to Will Wade at LSU or whatever, right? Like, it's just, you're going to hear that. I would just say try your best not to get too hung up on every single rumor that goes out there, because it will drive you nuts this time of year.
Yeah, I'm sure we will address it when we get to the chat, some specific things, but I would just say if you are currently in the chat spamming the chat with random rumors from random message boards and AI Facebook memes, stop. And we will get to you in a second. But I do think it is interesting, because when you think about this roster, and obviously retention is going to cost Arkansas money, and we don't know how much. And that's the one. The transfer NIL deals usually are the ones that get like reported. You don't usually get the report of like, oh yeah, I remember last year JT Toppin got a $4 million, like that was a big thing. Yeah. But like, it's very rare. Like, we have no idea how much Carter Knox made last year. We have no idea how much DJ Wagner got to come back. And so with that in mind, you look at Arkansas's roster, and obviously the freshmen coming in are very highly touted. I would assume Jordan Smith Jr. is getting compensated fairly. Is there anyone on Arkansas's roster that's like demanding this crazy JT Toppin level bag? I don't think so. Now, perhaps some tampering can lead to maybe some guys getting a little bit of a bump here and there, and I'm sure some of those, like all those returns, probably will get a bump to some degree. But I also think about like making a splash, and I'm like, I know Arkansas is up there in terms of the SEC, and Wooly is even prepared to increase their funds. I'm also just wondering, if you're not spending big on that big monster in the middle, where is that money going? Are you really just like overpaying to keep Richmond, Knox, and Wagner and those guys? Like, is that really what it is?
Yeah, that's my thing is like, I can understand people feeling a certain way if it was a certain coach who had a history of big time players leaving that you didn't want to leave and all of that. But it's like, it's still at the end of the day, it's still John Calipari, man. It's like, if he wants somebody and he wants them to stay, like they're going to stay. And, you know, I'm not saying that to like, oh, any player that ever leaves means we didn't want him. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Cal is who he is. I mean, your people are wanting to play for Cal like crazy. He's not a coach that just takes on anybody. And he's not a coach that'll just continue to play somebody or have somebody on the roster if it doesn't feel like there's some sort of benefit to it. Even though a lot of our friends over at Big Blue Nation always think like, oh, it's politics. He just played people because he likes his dad or whatever. It's like, that's just not the case. So as long as Cal is the coach and as long as he's continuing to put together next level rosters, I have no, like, I'm not going to sit here and just be like, oh man, I heard that so-and-so from that's currently on the team is listening to offers to go to like Duquesne or something. It's like, all right, okay, cool. Great. Yeah. Like that's awesome. So, but I get it. Like it's something that happens in this crazy world of transfer portal. It's only 15 days, right? That the portal is open. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
If I'm not
2
mistaken.
weeks.
So sheesh. Yeah. You're going to have a lot of that going on very quickly and like all at once when it comes to the madness that happens there.
That's why I do hope that because we've got this time frame here before the portal opens, that we get some announcements about, like, you know, the intentions of some of these dudes before we get to that point. I just put it out there, man. Hey, if you're coming back, you're coming back. You know what I mean? Like those conversations with Arkansas are going to be had. And I don't know. It's hard to kind of read if Cal has like some kind of hidden message or whatever. But when he was talking about like, I will not be extorted, was he sending a message to somebody, you know, like already saying, hey, I understand what's going on here. We're not going to do that. You either want to be here or you want to go make a bunch of money somewhere else. More power to you. Or if he's just talking about the bigger picture, I guess we can connect those dots on down the road if we want to. But like my anticipation would be that, you know, Leak and probably Billy will at least kind of go through the draft process or whatever. But outside of that, these other guys just need to make up their mind. You know, like say what you're going to do.
And what you don't want to have happen is you tell the coaching staff, oh, yeah, I'm back. But you don't put anything out. You don't really make that announcement. You don't put pen to paper, which is now a thing. We saw that during football. Transfer portal stuff is like you saw like Jaden Platt signing a piece of paper basically saying that he's coming back. What you don't want is the guy who kind of tells you, oh, yeah, I'm coming back. And then you operate as if you have that guy back, and it turns out maybe he's not back. And so that's interesting. But like I think we all agree, it's not like Cal's just going to, you know, be left with nothing here. And he's just going to kind of let it all play out and then let the dust settle and then try and go build his roster. Everything that we're talking about, these guys in that staff have talked about endlessly, you know, have probably been talking about for months and have probably already been planting seeds. And they, at the very least, probably have a better idea on what they have coming back, what they can make happen than we do. And so I guess we're just going to have to exercise our favorite virtue, patience.
Yeah. Well, it's to your point too, Andrew, it's like I see like with Joe Tipton or whoever like puts out a tweet, it's like so-and-so has agreed to return to this school. It's like, man, or agreed to a deal to return to the school. And it's just so, I don't think I'll ever get used to that in college. Just like, not that, they're returning. It's like, no, he agreed to a deal, signed the piece of paper, is going to make it happen. So, you know, that'd be really cool if those things could happen, you know, and you kind of just know what you're dealing with from the fans' sake. I mean, Cal, I think will be fine no matter what, but just for the fans' sake, just seeing that, hey, you know, Billy Richmond has signed a deal and agreed to a deal to come back to Arkansas. Back, yes, thank you. Yes, that's what we needed right there. That's what we needed. So,
yeah. If Billy Richmond was playing anywhere other than Arkansas next year and it wasn't professionally, we riot.
Yes,
we riot. That can't happen. That's unacceptable.
Yeah. And you know what my favorite thing about that would be? Not that obviously it would be awful, but my favorite thing of that awful thing would be is that there would probably be people be like, well, see, he got ejected from the game. He knew he's gone. He wasn't going to come back. That's why Cal kicked him off the team, got ejected in that game. Like, yeah, I'm sure that little hip check that he gave is what was the undoing of Billy Richmond at Arkansas. So there's going to be people that do that no matter what. But I saw somebody, I think it was in the chat, maybe not, but somebody was asking about Malik Euan and his situation with the waiver. It's just, we've talked about it, but it's like the JUCO thing, right? And that basically what it comes down to is just making sure that JUCO year does not count against his actual year of eligibility.
And that's got to go to the courts. Like he's going to have to get one of those injunctions. So that might take a while. You know what I mean? Like I guess it wasn't that long for, who are the quarterbacks that tried to do that? The dude at Ole Miss and the Aguilar kid from Tennessee. Yeah.
Trinidad Chambliss. Even Chandler Morris, right? Didn't he try to do that?
Chandler Morris, Diego Pavio's is trying to get like a 15th year and all these different things. So I don't know how far along they are in that process. So maybe it's a deal where it could happen quickly. Maybe it's not, but there's a lot that goes into it. It's not as simple as, well, the JUCO year doesn't count, so you should just automatically get it back. But there's other circumstances there, like for the reasons that he had to leave Ole Miss, and when he came to Arkansas, he was under the impression that he had a couple years because of that. And there's a lot that goes into it, and I think it just kind of depends on how quick it can get on the docket and be seen. Yeah, they move quickly for Bediako.
Yeah, I wonder what their intel is like on that. Like if they've been communicating with anybody, whether that just be like their legal supervisor or whatever, if they have some type of connection, or maybe they've talked to other people that have gone through similar things, and like if they have any semblance of an idea, because obviously we've talked about it and we're like, okay, yeah, can he come back? Can he not? They should have a better answer than we do, right?
Tom Mars, where are you at?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see, like, if something happens with that and getting approved or whatever, move forward. You know, Nate Oates is going to be complaining about it over there. But I saw the player. I should let Andrew do impersonation, but it's like, oh, I saw. You know, I wish we had that last year. Bet with Charles. You know, he's just trying to be a great kid. So
I see Auburn went out and got themselves one of them pro players, one of them old men taking away opportunities from high school kids.
Yeah. Oh man, I bet you he's just, Nate Oates is punching air right now and just so angry about any of that too. So, but I tell you what, we'll get to some of your chats, folks, and talk some basketball. We'll get some football and some baseball as well. But I want to remind everybody, tomorrow we're going to be live from Blue Ember Smokehouse in Rogers, because it is the first Wednesday of the month. It's April Fool's Day tomorrow, and that's not a joke. We are going to be there, and we are going to have some great handcrafted barbecue. So come on out and hang out with us there at their location, 1723 West Pleasant Grove Road in Rogers, from 12 to 2 tomorrow afternoon. But if you can't make it there and have a great lunch, you can also have great catering. That's right, great catering from Blue Ember Smokehouse, and they're going to take care of you when it comes to all of your needs, especially with Easter. It's coming up, folks. And you're probably struggling. You're probably scrambling, trying to figure out, what am I going to do here? How can I handle this? How can I make sure that my entire family is fed? Well, let Blue Ember Smokehouse take care of you in that regard, because they're going to get you a full ham that feeds 18 to 20 people for $65. And don't forget, also add some sides to that, because you can't just have a ham. You got to have the Easter sides, like mac and cheese, green beans, tater salad, and baked beans. Half pan feeds 20 to 25 people, only $40. And a full pan feeds 40 to 50 people for only $60. And if you get your order in now at one of their 6 locations, you can pick it up on this Saturday from 10:30 to 6 p.m. So give them a call at one of their 6 locations right there listed on your screen, whether it's Fort Smith, Jonesboro, Texarkana, Little Rock, Hot Springs, or Rogers. It's Blue Ember Smokehouse. All right, so getting to some of your chats, folks, because, again, I know a lot of it's basketball related, and we'll do that and talk some football too, and have some clips to play even, because we're excited. I don't care what anybody says. We're excited to go out and watch practice day 4:15. And we're going to have some recaps of that and checking out the Razorback football team, this new Razorback football team, for the very first time. So let's see. Justin says, gosh dang, Jordan Smith Jr. is a beast. Maybe he needs to be a leader in the weight room too. Our guys always need more muscle.
I heard they do the little press conference, like the media things, and they had JJ and Jordan Smith sitting up there together. You know, it makes sense. But JJ said something along the lines of, that they go back and forth, like they mess with each other and talk trash to each other about who's the strongest, who's stronger. I love hearing that from the backcourt, like get in that weight room, man, because that's one thing about Arkansas. They're always so, you know, they're long, they're athletic, they run the floor, they're usually like one of the most fast and above the rim teams in the country. But they need to put some weight on, man. They need to get that weight room grown man strength in there. And I know when you're a freshman, that's hard to come by, but these dudes, they are not allergic to the weight room by any means. I like that because we talk a lot about Arkansas's lack of physicality and everything up front. They had that issue in the backcourt also this year. And like Malik Thomas, not a very physically strong dude, but he played with some toughness and competitiveness, but they got pushed around in there. And that was part of the reason why the forwards looked as bad as they did, because the guards couldn't keep anybody in front of them and out of the paint because they would just get pushed around in there. That is not going to happen next year with these guys. They're strong, man.
I also wonder if it's going to have Carter Knox kind of looking in the mirror and being like, man, I might have to do some more push-ups. Might have to get in the weight room a little bit. Make sure these pups know that I'm still the top dog around here. I love that, man. I think Arkansas is going to have, like, it really does remind me of a must roster in the way of just everyone's kind of around the same size. Everyone's kind of got that same type of versatility and strength. And hopefully it just kind of brings the dog out of all of them.
Yeah. Who was the last, like, built guard that Arkansas has had? I mean, you know, when just kind of not saying, oh, well, he's just not skinny, but somebody that's like built.
Caleb Battle was actually jacked. If you got up close to that dude, he had some broad shoulders, big arms. He is one that kind of stands out to me. Outside of that,
dude,
they've had like tall guards. You know, they had tall guards, 6'5", 6'6" guards, but I don't know.
I will say Jalen Barford, I know it was a ways back, but that dude was also built like a truck.
Barford was a physical guard.
I mean, Anthony Black wasn't no puppy.
No.
He was a big dude.
He this is going to sound weird, but he had the like thick thighs, big old calves, you know, for a freshman. He had a lot of lower body strength to him. And he was like over 200 pounds as a 6'7" guard. So yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah. Especially given the circumstance of like, hey, you got to remember they're freshmen a lot of times too. Yeah. Like not all of them have just been in the weight room forever.
Caleb's right in there. Nelly Davis was a strong. I mean, hell, he played power forward on a Final Four team in a 4-guard lineup. He was down there defending the 4, so he had some size to him also.
Yeah. In fact, I think maybe you alluded to it, Andrew, but Nick says, "Are we sure Jordan Smith will play point guard?"
Yeah,
fairly sure.
He's he's a combo, so he's going to do both. And that's why I think for a guy like DJ Wagner, this might even be a better situation for him than this past year was, because I think he's going to be able to have more of those ball handling duties, and it could kind of be a platoon situation there. I wish that they both shot a little bit better from 3, obviously, but I do think they could kind of complement each other pretty well. And say what you want about that, but a DJ Wagner and Jordan Smith Jr. backcourt, it's going to be really hard to score on.
Yeah, I also wonder Ulyss's impact a little bit. I think Acuff benefited a lot from having Tyler Ulis in his corner and kind of showing him, hey, certain reads that you can make. Hey, these passes are always going to be available to you. And I feel like Darius Acuff got a lot better in his 1 year at Arkansas. He was very good when he got to Arkansas. He got a lot better as a shooter and as a playmaker. I don't know if it's that simple that, hey, Jordan Smith Jr. is going to walk right in here. He's also going to become a 45% three-point shooter and be a 7-assist type of passer. But I do think if Arkansas, I think, Jordan Smith Jr. wants to be a point guard. I think that's kind of what he wants to do at Arkansas. I think Arkansas is going to kind of embrace that with him and hopefully try and develop some of those skill sets with him. And I think he's a good ball handler. I think it's just a matter of getting those reps and having someone like Ulis, having some older guys, even someone like DJ Wagner, to kind of show you the ropes a little bit and bring out that side of you. If Jordan Smith Jr. is able to kind of really round out that side of his game and be a real playmaker, floor general, he's going to be okay, I think.
I'm just going to go ahead and dub Arkansas's point guard U, just because wherever John Calipari is, it just seems like that's point guard U. That's the way I'm going to do it. I'm sure that won't upset anybody.
I'll take it.
But he's off to a pretty good start when it comes to his point guards that he's added to the roster and continuing to add. Shout out to Washburn Idol. Appreciate the super chat, man. Says, which freshman coming in next year has the highest ceiling? Also Woo Pig and only Woo Pig. Thank you.
Torrey might have the highest ceiling, man. That dude's different.
He's fun, man.
He's coming on strong too, like a rapid stock riser. He might be that guy. I've saw multiple 2027, I guess it would be, mock drafts today that had him higher than the other 2 guys that they have in there who are at the McDonald's game.
He's probably the best shooter right now out of the 3. Is that fair to say?
Probably. They're all kind of
a whole lot, if I'm being honest.
They're all similar, man. If you go look at it, they're all you know, 35+% guys, but low volume.
Yeah.
So it's not like they can't shoot. It's just if you had to pick a weak point, that's it, with everything else that they can do.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when we talk about ceilings with some people, and I think all three of these guys are fairly similar in terms of just their overall archetype, but like a lot of times we'll look at a guy and be like, oh yeah, well if you just gave Daniel Gafford a 3-point shot, his ceiling would be through the roof. If you just gave this guy, and so it's like you can say that, but it's like not really realistic. And that's why I kind of look at Jordan Smith Jr. and I think not only could you say, hey, you could really improve that 3-point shot. I think if any of these three guys were going to be a legitimate off the dribble threat, it probably would be Jordan Smith Jr. And not to mention you round out the other skill sets and just the overall well-roundedness to his game. I think he's got a pretty good argument. But yeah, I mean, that's that. I think we can continue to have this conversation throughout the next 6 months. I think we'll probably change our minds a few times.
Yeah, for sure. And also too, it's like I feel like Arkansas has had some of those players too, where you felt like you were more excited about like this 5-star, this 4-star, or whatever. But then it's the guy that's the rising star that ends up being, you know, better for the team or whatever. And that's not a bad thing, like because you want to have all the best players you possibly can. But some guys just will translate once they get on campus at a college better than others. Sometimes it'll happen that way. But I'm just excited to see where they're at. Let me ask you this, and hopefully I can make sense when I'm asking this question. I'm not just talking about getting a better player. But of all the 5 positions that were on the starters from this last year, how many of those 5 do you feel like Arkansas will be better at next year? Now, considering like it could be the same player just improving, but I mean, is it other than point guard? Is there really one that you would feel pretty confident that Arkansas is not going to be better at than what they were this past year?
Not. If Malik Thomas leaves, I'd be hard pressed to see them being better at the 2.
The 4.
The 4 is going to be a lot tougher than people think. Trevin's not going to be as easy to replace as people think he is. The 5, they should certainly be better.
Yeah.
Good Lord, I hope so.
The 3, you're going to have 2 guys that already started there. You know, he says, like, yeah, Billy and Knox should both be better. And who knows, maybe Carter Knox, you know, if Carter Knox ends up playing the 2 and he's kind of your Malik Thomas replacement, I could see a version of Carter Knox that is older, tougher, consistent shooting, to where I'm not saying he'll be a better player than Malik Thomas was, but to where you're not like having a huge drop off there.
Mm-hmm. Guys, we're going to take just a little side note here. This is something that I'm really hoping is not true. That's on Twitter, and I'm going to put it up and let you know about it and see what your reaction is to it, because it was just sent to me. Coming from Andrew Cumbo, says, Izzo announced today on Tim Stott's show that Michigan State will be playing Arkansas at LCA on Thanksgiving this year, because it was supposed to be down in Fayetteville, but I guess not. Should be a fun matchup.
What is LCA?
I do not know.
Like Little Rock Christian or something? Like what does that mean?
I think it's Little Caesars Arena, maybe. It's the first thing I pulled up. It's in Detroit.
Oh, that would be bullshit.
That would be bullshit.
No, yeah. I love the censoring from Curtis, and then Andrew's like, no, I ain't saying, no, just going all in. But no, it would be. It would be. Now, again, this, by the way, just to make sure everyone's clear on this, Andrew Cumbo, he's a Michigan State guy, so it's not like just some random troll, but he's like college football or basketball junkie, whatever. He's not like a media member, but he's got pretty good following, whatever it is. But he said that it was said on his show, on this Tim Stott show. So I don't know to confirm it or deny it or whatever. I just got it sent to me, and I wanted to run it by y'all, especially you, Curtis, to see if you had heard anything or if this is true. But if this is true, yes, it is complete BS, and it should cancel the game. Like, if this is what it's going to be, cancel the game. Because, like, Cal, I don't know who's involved. I don't know what's going on. You owe us. You owe us this game in Fayetteville. This game is owed to the fans in Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville. And how in the world could it be justified of not only not playing it in Fayetteville, but playing it up in Michigan?
Yeah, you just played them on the road. So why would you do that again? Cal has said straight up that the return was going to be in Fayetteville. Izzo has said that too. So I don't know why that would have changed. But that can't happen, especially when you got screwed out of a home game against Baylor this past year. So if we're just going to be entering contracts and then never getting the home games, then why the hell even do it?
Yeah, I don't like that. And obviously Arkansas likes to play Thanksgiving neutral site games. They've done it each of the last 2 years, and I liked both of the times they did it, even though it went horribly for the actual team. if you were doing something like this on top of your home game against Michigan State, I mean, you think about last year's non-conference schedule. They had marquee home games. They had marquee neutral site games. They had marquee road games. They kind of did it all. I'm okay with Arkansas doing something like if you want to play in Detroit on Thanksgiving, that's fine. That cannot replace the home game for Michigan State. In my I think that's kind of crazy.
It can't. I've seen this a few times from Anthony Cal. Says we was in contract home and home. We was in contract to get a home game with Baylor this year, and we didn't get it. So that doesn't mean anything. So I don't know. I don't know who this dude is or if he knows what he's talking about. But.
And again, it could be complete nonsense. But it's just something that if it would have been said in this guy just saying it, I wouldn't even get that twice. But when he said it because he heard Izzo say it on that guy's radio show, then that's what made me kind of have a little bit of feelers on it too. Who knows? Maybe, Izzo's old in age, maybe he's senile and got it mixed up with some other team they're playing in Detroit. Maybe there was that case, but still,
they're also going on the road for the ACC thing. So if they're putting together a non-conference schedule that's going to have Jackson State on there 8 times, don't get pissed when there's 4,000 people in the stands. It's like, if they're doing that, then maybe they've got it worked out with Baylor to where they're actually going to bring that game here. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like. But regardless, no matter what else, they could have Duke, Kansas, and Gonzaga all coming to Bud Walton Arena. I still wouldn't go play Michigan State in Detroit next year.
Heck no.
I wouldn't do it, man.
Heck no. And I wouldn't expect Michigan State to, if they would have played in Fayetteville last year and then this next year they're going to play down in Little Rock. No. That would be stupid too.
Yeah.
So it's just something, speculation, could be all just nonsense, but just wanted to get that on people's radars. Yeah, listen. I mean, the Louisville game was fine, but that was already, put there for the ACC, SEC challenge. It's like, no, we want a big time. Getting Tom Izzo in Michigan State is a big deal in Fayetteville. I'm not saying that no coaches, Hall of Fame coaches, elite level coaches have never not come to Fayetteville, but it's one thing to be forced if you're part of the challenge, like when Jim Boeheim was forced to go to Syracuse or John Shire was forced in Duke. That's one thing. But as far as an actual agreed upon non-conference home and home type of thing, that does not happen often. In fact, the last time I could think of it from a big team, at least, was Michigan back 10, 15 years ago. So this better happen. And I'm serious. I as if I'm going to do anything, but it's just I'll be pissed. I'll be tweeting out nonsense.
I will voice my displeasure.
Yeah. I will write a letter or an email to somebody. I'm going to get fed up. Tom Izzo, duck and cow. Just classic Izzo. Classic Izzo.
Maybe Arkansas just really is going the route of having the zero relevant non-conference games out. Maybe this is just their only relevant non-conference game. So they're like, hey, we might as well have it on Thanksgiving. That really is confusing to me. And I don't know. Maybe that really is. Cause Arkansas, they kind of went overboard last year with the non-conference. Maybe they'll just say, hey, we're just going to play a bunch of mid-majors. All these mid-major coaches are yapping about us not playing them. We're going to play all of them. We're going to beat all of them.
Yeah, I know. I hate my buddy Devin, but he does say some funny things because he just says, got to get acquainted with our new Final Four venue. Yep, that's it, because that's where the Final Four is at next year. So, sure. But still, it's got to be where I'm not even saying I'd be okay with it, but even if you had it in Kansas City or something on Thanksgiving, that at least would make a little bit of sense. Still wouldn't happy, but to just say, oh, now we're going to get the home game, but then we're going to give you a game where there's going to be more Michigan State fans there than anybody. It's just not right. It ain't right. It ain't right. So anyways, we'll keep you updated on that. Hopefully that's not the case. But there's just not many of those Hall of Fame coaches because we know Patino's not going to come down to Fayetteville at any point in time. Trying to think of
he did say it.
That he would come to Fayetteville?
No,
sorry. Yeah. You're talking about that.
It says dude. Yeah, because it's like a whatever news outlet up there in Michigan in Lansing, and there's a whole story about it.
Dude, they better bring the Harlem Globetrotters to Bud Walton Arena.
Tom Izzo announced on Tim Stout's radio show Tuesday morning Michigan State would be playing Arkansas at Little Caesars Arena on Thanksgiving Day. Michigan State hosted Arkansas on November 8th as the first part of an originally agreed upon 2-year home and home series. The details at the moment aren't clear if that is still the case. Izzo added that the Michigan State-Arkansas game on Thanksgiving Day will follow the Detroit Lions game that day in Detroit as well. Everything's got to be a spectacle, man.
I know. Just, okay, make a spectacle of something else. Like, do another game that's a spectacle. Play Duke again in Chicago. I don't care. Like,
this is such a bad precedent to set, which has already been set, of like, you can agree to a home and home with Arkansas, get a home game, and then just not have to go to Bud Walton Arena. I don't know why the administration at the University of Arkansas would accept that. I don't know why Cal would accept that. I don't know why we, the fan base, would accept that. Like, I think if that's the route we're going to go, really, just never schedule a home and home. And if you are, you better get that home game first.
Right.
Yes, seriously. Arkansas always gets the short end of the stick in this nonsense, man. But I'm with you too, Andrew. I don't know about the Globetrotters, but it's like, you better make it up to the fans and to everybody about in some way, have some sort of big team. Get Gonzaga down here. It won't be the same, but get a Gonzaga, get Houston, get somebody to come and play Arkansas in Bud Walton Arena, because that was a game I think everybody was looking forward to next year, of knowing that you were going to have a big time team there. So dadgummit. Tom, like we need answers. We need answers here. Let us know. But anyways.
Well, never mind.
No,
they were going to play in Detroit. They should have done it this year for ACON.
Yes.
Yeah. But
yeah. It's just if it does come out, it is true and everything. Man, surely there'll be a statement or an announcement or a reasoning or something to why that happened.
If they added, and I see, folks that are like, "What is this, like a breach of contract or whatever?" They wouldn't just. It's not like Izzo would just be like, "Hey, actually, we're not coming to your place. We're going to play this game in Detroit." Arkansas would have to agree to that. So then the question would be, are they just like, screw it, we'll play the second game up there, or does Arkansas get the return game like the next year? They're just going to keep pushing it until Izzo doesn't come to Fayetteville and it's their new head coach, and John will be mad.
Oh, dude, man, I'm telling you, like, that's what I'm saying. It's inevitable. It's inevitable that's going to be happening.
I'm sure Calipari is valuing the Thanksgiving Day CBS. You're on national TV. You're following the NFL game. Like, that's going to be a big audience. We've learned that the last couple of years, and so I'm sure that's part of how he was able to talk himself into it. I just don't know why we're having to choose between these things. Last year, Arkansas played 6 high marquee non-conference games, neutral, home, and road. Why is it a play on Thanksgiving or play Michigan State at home? To me, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And
I think I agree with this from Jaded Sports Fan. Playing them on a neutral is one thing. Playing in Detroit is absurd. Yeah, it's playing a second road game, especially on Thanksgiving when there are going to be less people travel. It's right down the road for Michigan State. They could go to the game and still have their Thanksgiving dinner at home.
Yeah. Or how about this? You know who else plays every Thanksgiving? Dallas, the Cowboys. Go down there. If you're going to do it, I guarantee there'd be a ton of Razorback fans down there. Play it in Cowboy Stadium. Jerry, make the call. Make that happen. That would make more sense. I still wouldn't like it, but yeah, it's just, that's frustrating. That's really, really frustrating.
Play at 11, and then Arkansas play at 7. They have the court just thrown on there.
Breaking news of a good variety.
I just saw that. Yeah, go ahead, Curtis.
Santos Surreal, Georgia big man, is officially in the transfer
portal.
No
way.
He's a hog. Arkansas. Curtis, get on the phone, Cal.
What are your thoughts on Santos Cyril? Could Arkansas get a big man like that? Santos Cyril?
Get him in here.
Yeah. I'm tagging Tyson Foods on this tweet. Like, that's
big time right there.
That is.
Done. Arkansas's front court's out there for him to get. Yep. Santo available. Bayandonga, who we talked about all last year from Georgia Tech, available. Go get them both. Man. Go get them both and be done with it. Bring Euan back and we're good to go.
Which I fully agree, but Curtis, to the level, if you could just humor me.
Okay.
If they got Santo come to Arkansas, like, what level of an excitement, like, game changer, like, comparatively speaking, like, where would that rank? And as far as additions to a Razorback basketball team, like, how much of a game changer would something like that be for this team next year?
Well, I mean, he represents everything that Arkansas didn't have this year. It's not like he's not an All-American, top 10 draft prospect or whatever. But if it wasn't for Ruben Chinyelu, he could have been SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He is an elite level shot blocker, I think he might have led the country in dunks. I'll find that out in a minute here. Big time offensive rebounder. He's a big, mean, tough son of a you-know-what that Arkansas just did not have in the paint. Go get him. Go get him.
I see a lot of people doing the thing where they're like, well, I mean, he only averages, 6 points or whatever. Like, we need more production. I hear you. That is not what, like, Arkansas is not looking to go get a 5-man that you're going to, like, run the offense through per se. You want a guy, and now maybe they will go get a 4-man who has a little bit more offensive versatility, especially if you're getting Santos, which, by the way, is an assumption we're all making. If you were to bring in someone like Santos, who would be your 5, that would be a legitimate 7-2 presence that you have there. Then the rest of your roster is accounting for the offense. You think about someone like Malik Euan. He was not satisfied if he wasn't getting the ball. Santos is not that way. Santos is not the guy you bring in to be your, like, leading scorer. He's the guy who's going to be your anchor defensively. He's going to be your physical presence who doesn't care if he has the ball in his hands. That would be the actual good thing about getting Santos, is you don't have to worry about him on offense. You don't have to run plays for him. He just kind of plays within the flow of the game, plays good defense, uses his fouls, rebounds, block shots. All that's fine and dandy. You're not bringing in Santos Cyril to be your leading scorer. Nobody would be arguing for that.
Well, right. And to your point, it's like, if you told me his averages at Georgia this past year were 9.3 points per game, 5.4 rebounds a game, and 2.2 blocks per game. If you forget the name, if you just told me that Arkansas got their big man was going to average that next year, sign me up. Like, yeah, I'd love to have their 5, because you know what they're going to do with the other guys on the team. If their 5 is going out there and averaging nearly 10 points a game, getting nearly 6 rebounds a game, and getting 2.5 blocks a game, yeah, I'll take that. So I don't really care about the stats. I care about, like, what fit, as you said, like how he fits with addressing needs and filling voids. If y'all want some big physical dudes, he fits the bill. So that would be pretty cool if they had
about as good as it's gonna get, man. Santos led the country in dunks last season. He did. So and I think I looked at one point, and it was like 80% of his points came off dunks. That's it. He's gonna screen people and put them on their ass, and then he's going to catch lobs and dunk them, and he's going to get offensive rebounds and dunk them, and he's going to block every shot that's around him. Mm-hmm. And if we're already complaining about foul trouble and what do you do against St. Louis in the tournament? Listen, I get it, but this is what most of you have been clamoring for years, ever since the Baylor thing. It's since the UConn game. Go get Sonogo. Go get this guy. Go get that guy. Well, now he comes available. We can't start complaining about him.
This is the most Arkansas thing ever. Literally like 2 weeks ago, I remember someone asking about Santos Cyril, and I'm like, are they serious right now? Like, we have already had the Santos Cyril conversation 1,000 times, and Curtis has always said, until he actually enters the portal, it's hard to entertain that. Well, now he's entered the portal, so we're going to entertain that. But I think again, you look at this guy and you look at everything that he can't do, and you're like, oh, but he can't, score at a high level, and oh, he's not an elite rebounder or whatever. That's why you have the rest of your roster spots. That's why you're allowed to go out and get maybe 2 or 3 total front court pieces in the transfer portal, and then maybe you bring in a guy like Malik Euan. Which, by the way, that's the next question I want to ask: is could Malik Euan play the 4 with Santos Cyril? I think yes. Now, your shooting in this situation would be, you would need those, your backcourt. You need someone like Carter Knox to really be a high volume, high efficiency 3-point shooter. You probably need Malik Euan to start stretching the floor a little bit, which we saw some signs of this past year. I think from an offense-defense standpoint, you could just alternate those guys kind of like you did Pringle and Euan this year, and I think you're just getting a better version of Nick Pringle in there. But I kind of like the possibility of those guys playing together. If
Euan and Pringle could do it, and they did, and it actually looked – Euan probably looked his best, especially defensively, when he was playing with Pringle. So I imagine that would still be the case with Santos in there. And the thing about Santos, too, is like he's not a 35-minute-a-game type of guy. When you're big and physical and you challenge dudes at the rim like that, like, yes, that's going to come with some foul trouble. He's probably a 25 to 28 minute a game guy. the rest can go to Euan or whatever. And then if he's playing some at the 4 also, then he's got his role right there. Get yourself a 4-man who's versatile and can play out on the perimeter some, and let's rock. Like, I'm ready
for it. 21 minutes a game at Georgia last year.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's about what he would probably play at Arkansas. Which, by the way, you look at the points, the rebounds, and the blocks, and you're like, okay, yeah, 8, 5, and 2 or whatever. That's in 20 minutes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I'm not saying, hey, if you play him 40, he'll just double that. For what you're asking out of him, that's exactly what Arkansas would want. And again, I think that doesn't mean you're just done in the front court. I think you go out and get some other pieces. Maybe you get a front court guy that can actually shoot the ball a little bit. I would love to see that. And then, bring in maybe even you talk about maybe those reclass guys. What better way to have a backup, front court guy than it be one of those freshmen that you're kind of trying to develop? I would love that. Yeah.
Jaded sports fan, Santos. Santos clears Marshall by miles and miles and miles. And that was going to kind of lead to my next question, because we all want a monster. Like, we're tired of this crap. You know what I mean? Like, is Santos going to get pushed around like Arkansas's guys did by Kribas or, the Florida bigs or whatever? Hell, he got ejected from the Florida game for punching one of them in the face because he was tired of dealing with it. But my question is, if not him, then who? Because there's such a finite number of guys out there who fit this profile. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 more become available, but we know how hot of a commodity they're going to be. The thing that's most intriguing about Santos in terms of him kind of fitting what you're looking for is the obvious connections there that he already has with John Calipari, with his coaching staff, the familiarity with the league. This seems like a no-brainer, don't screw it up, get it done type of deal.
Real quick, I will just say that, like, obviously Santos, if you look at his game log at Georgia this past year, you're going to see some absolutely dominant games. You're going to see some complete no-shows where he was not a factor at all. That happened in the NCAA tournament with him. And so that's something you certainly need to be cognizant of like, hey, we're bringing this guy in, and in certain matchups, he might be not as good. In certain matchups, he might be better. And you kind of have this, like, and he's a guy that is personality-wise has kind of had his ups and downs throughout his career. Right. That would also be a reason why putting him with Cal would maybe be the best thing that could happen to him. Cal's whole entire life goal is to get the most out of his individual players. He's had a relationship with Santos before. He committed to him once before, and I think he can probably sell, hey, you've done it your way and you've had your ups and downs. Now come in here and do what we want to do. You're a grown man now. You're a senior. Let's just be for real now. And so if Cal is able to pull out any version of consistency out of Santos Cyril, that would be awesome.
You know what I love? Let me just pull this up real quick. Hickory Hog says, can Santos forgive Carter for the cheap shot and become his brother? Him, and he was literally ready to fight Malik Euan to the death. Yeah. That game in Athens. And they would have to play with each other. So,
hey, I kind of like this, though. Because these guys are going to be in practice together. Yeah, bring out a little bit of that anxious, that little fighting side of you. I like it.
Hey, Dennis Rodman was on the Bad Boy Pistons with Jordan and against Jordan and Scotty, and then what happened? He joined them, and then it ended up being great, something beautiful. So
that's right.
Maybe it happens again too. But here's the deal: is like this is all just because it's new of him entering the portal. But it kind of goes back to my whole question of like, hey, is Arkansas going to be better at every position what they were last year? Well, if they got Santos, I think it's just simple as this. Yes, they will be extremely much more improved, better in every way, shape, and form at the 5 than what they were a year ago.
Oh,
so I'm sold. That's all I need.
So earlier we were having the conversation about how this is just something that happens with every program in the country, right? Like, there are going to be guys who are, trying to poach DJ Wagner or Billy or whoever off of Arkansas's roster. Could it be that certain players are announcing their intentions to enter the transfer portal with Arkansas in mind?
Could be.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Curious.
Yeah. Maybe he just wanted to be a Hog. Maybe after he played him, he's like, you know what? I'd like to play there one day. And just decided to make the move. And I'm sure that, him and Cal, for sure, if that's the case, haven't talked since, that he was recruited and originally committed to Kentucky. And he's like, oh, hey, I didn't see you entered into the portal. That's incredible. Well, if you want to play over here, I'm sure it'll all go really well. But get in on it. John Tyson, I know you're listening. All right. Make some calls, do some things. Us 3, at least, we'll buy some more chicken If that's what it takes, we'll make it happen for you.
The portal opens on the 7th. This needs to be done on the 8th.
That's right. That's right.
Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly right. But I tell you what, if Carter or Malik Euan or anybody, has some issues with Somto if he comes in, well, they can just settle it over at the Fight House. That's just where they need to have it happen. They can settle it at the Fight House because it is the newest gym in Northwest Arkansas for your boxing, MMA, and strength training, where it's not just built for athletes, but it's built for competitors and anyone ready to push their limits. I know a lot of you who are still trying to get into shape and still trying to hold on to that New Year's resolution from earlier this year. And maybe with the summer and the warm weather coming around, you want to get into that beach body. Well, that's what you need to check out Fight House Gym for. It has high energy boxing with MMA training, as well as free weights, elite cardio equipment, sleds, cross training, you name it. They got it over there at Fight House Gym. So you can push your body to the edge and you can also recover, because that's just as important, if not as important as anything when it comes to your training. You got to recover right. Well, they have a cold plunge. They have saunas designed to keep you strong. And it doesn't matter if you're a seasoned fighter or just starting your fitness journey. This is the gym that meets you where you are and pushes you even further. It's not just a gym, it's a mindset. And Fight House Gym is now open right now. 10131 Webb Way in Fayetteville on exit 58 off of I-49. You can sign up today at fighthousegym.com, or you can call them and set up an appointment to come check it out for yourself, or you just walk in and check it out for yourself. It's an awesome spot, very conveniently located. You can call them at 951-623-9745 and step inside and bring the fight with Fight House Gym. All right, so I had some things happen during the show today that made us mad and then kind of got us a little excited, and that the possibilities. So what's fun about doing I was going to say live radio, but live streaming too. That's a big part of it. But shout out to the super chat from Jaded Sports Fan. Says Somto had 8 blocks against the Hogs. Sign me up.
And
it's true.
Look, man, say what you want about the Hogs front court or whatever, but they were among the best in the country in not getting their shot blocked. And Somto didn't have an issue at all with that.
I mean, dude, if Santos committed to Arkansas on the 8th, you would look at it on paper and be like, Arkansas might have the best defense in the SEC right away.
Good Lord.
I mean, it really would be pretty imposing.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. Also, I just like this from Hickory Hawk, because he knows how to play the hits. He's like, Santos going to be calling Gracie Frizzell in the 7th to find his new home for the next year. That's true. That's true. From one baller to another, they're going to make it happen. Let's see. Also, a few other chats here too. I mean, it kind of just changes the game with this whole Somto thing, because some of these people are asking about certain things. But either way, Gage was talking about Torres, like in a way reminds me of Billy.
He's kind of almost like a hybrid between Billy and Carter, honestly. Like he shares some of the traits with both of those guys. And if he becomes closer to the type of shooter that Carter is, look out, because he's got that explosive type of athleticism that Billy does. Got that dog in him. Torrey's going to be fun, man.
Yeah. Also, James just says pro bono super chat. I like that. Says, we already talked about Malik playing the 4, just since he can dribble, pass, and shoot. I will say, if Malik Euan is able to come back, and he does come back, I'm not saying, play whatever he wants, but I want to see him shoot a little bit more, because we kept hearing about his shots. He could shoot. Well, let's see it. I want to see him shoot a little bit more. Saw him shoot a couple threes, made him even, but maybe make that part of his game. Philip, appreciate the super chat. It says 7-foot big man that only gets 6 rebounds a game. That will be a hard pass. This is
so
trolling,
I think if you were going to make a case against him as a rebounder, you should do it in like a percentage or a per 40 type of thing. Because we talked about this earlier. He played 20 minutes a game, and so yeah, he gets 6. He averaged 9 and 6 or whatever in 20 minutes a game. Obviously, he's not going to be a guy that comes in and plays 38 minutes or whatever. But it's not like he played 34 minutes. And it was just like missing out on rebounds. His rebound percentages and all that, and per 40, they're about average. He's not a great rebounder by any stretch, but he's not like a below average rebounder.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, here's my thing. If anybody says this and whatever, if you have your critiques and everything, my deal is like Somto. I assume, I haven't seen the rankings, but I assume he's probably going to be one of the most highly coveted players in the transfer portal across the board by every platform and by every outlet. Okay. I don't think that you're seeing something that everybody who does this for a living, who scouts, who looks at it, who knows, is just being like, oh, well, I saw numbers and he's not any good, but all these other people are wrong because they think he's really good. That's usually not how it works. Doesn't mean he can't mess up. Doesn't mean he will be as great as what people hope for, but To just be like, saw the numbers, done, nah. I think that's just a ridiculous way to look at it.
I also think there's a connection, but I mean, you don't block as many shots as he does if your like priority is on the defensive glass. A lot of times, if you're the primary shot blocker, there's someone next to you who's usually getting a lot of those rebounds, and so that combined with the minutes per game, the percentages, like he's not like a elite rebounder by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not like he's just like getting bodied on the glass or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, Philip, if you're going to keep paying us for it, I'm going to keep making you look dumb. But our guards average rebounds a game, still no thank you. Well, all right. I'm sure
you're just incapable of any nuance in this conversation whatsoever is basically what you're admitting.
It just can't happen, man.
I saw one number on college sports reference, and now I'm out.
Your guards, Darius Acuff averaged 3 rebounds a game. Malik Thomas averaged 3.8. Billy averaged 4.3. Carter averaged 4. Where DJ Wagner averaged 1.6.
Yeah,
that's all the guards, right?
What did Malik Euan average in rebounds? Like 5, 6?
Yeah, 5.7.
Yeah, I'm sure Pringle averaged less than that. Like,
yeah, people crack me up, man. Let's see. Also, Ryan was asking, is Abdou Toure a similar player to Thero? Which you should talk about Billy, but
maybe he could be. But he needs to add like 25 pounds and 3 inches or so of height.
Which, to be fair, Abdou Thero did during.
That's what I was going to say. Listen, that's not outside the realm of possibility, you know.
Yeah. Also, it's kind of funny because Heartbroken Hog said this in the very beginning of the show, but now it's kind of even funnier considering the conversation. But it's like, hey, Curtis, how much of a threat is this team to lead the nation in dunks again?
Well, they should be in a pretty good spot if if they're able to close on this guy. So. He'll make about half of them himself. Remember, Georgia was the team that led Arkansas in dunks all season. And then in the SEC tournament, Arkansas finally passed them.
Yeah.
I mean, Malik Euan led the team in dunks by the end of the year, right? Santos Cyril led the country in dunks. If that's your starting front court, that's a lot of dunks. You know, you only got a handful of dunks out of Acuff. He did wind up dunking about 4 or 5 times this year. I think Jordan Smith Jr. would be a 10-plus dunk type of guy for sure. I think all of those wings. I mean, Carter had a fair amount of dunks before he went down. Billy obviously dunks a good bit. Like, literally every single player in the starting lineup is going to be an above-average dunker. That's big time.
Yeah. Also, Zach just says, John, don't lie. We know you got hops. I do not. Also, Bobby says, have y'all seen all the shows Mike Irwin saying Billy Goat gone because we don't have any money and not going to get any good players out of the portal because we are broke? He keeps saying that we are broke.
So real quick, no, we haven't seen it. And 2, I obviously understand that everyone in this chat, you're consuming our content. We understand that, hey, you consume other content, you go see other things other places. We also do the same thing. We see other things other places too. I just want y'all to understand we can't be held responsible for the random BS that you read on other places. So, one, we address that. We don't think that's a thing. If it is a thing, we obviously would let you know. That wouldn't be a thing that we would just keep to ourselves. But every day we see like, oh, hey, I saw a Facebook message that said this. Thoughts? And it's like, no, we are not here to. We can't be held responsible for what you hear from someone else. Take that up with them. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
No.
So, well, let's talk about this for a minute. Why, how, and under what circumstances would Arkansas basketball be broke? Is it because of the back-to-back Sweet 16s? Does that tell you that they're broke? Is it signing the 3 5-star freshmen that are coming in? Does that tell you that they're broke?
Sounds
this
broke
new
to
deal with Tyson, does that tell you they're broke? Football having more money? Is that why Arkansas basketball is broke? Cal being the only guy in the country who's doing the donor insurance to avoid donor fatigue, so they keep coming back to the well. Is that why Arkansas is broke? What the hell are we talking about?
Yeah,
that makes zero sense to me.
But
it's like I've said before. It's like John Calipari is not going to be coaching at a program that he can't succeed at a high level at. If that was the case, Cal was just leaving. He's not going to be here anymore. Like, he's not going to continue that. I just don't understand why people would take that and think that that's the case. So, let's see. Kingsley, it's good to hear from you, man. He says, I've been tough on 12 all season, but it's not because of his play. I need him to mature in the offseason, get beyond crying to the refs, throwing his hands up after every play, and jogging back on D. I actually like the kid, to be honest, but I can't help but wonder how much of that mindset and behavior rubs off on the other/younger players.
Yeah, I don't think this is a completely unfair sentiment at all. We've also kind of had our ups and downs with Malik Euan, and I do think he developed over the course of the year, both in terms of the production he was able to give Arkansas on the court. I also think, and he's certainly still like complaining to the refs and stuff like that, but it was very rare down the stretch that he would get completely taken out of a game. And that's really what I care about ultimately is, what you do on the court. But in terms of like having a negative effect on the locker room, I think that's a fair concern. But down the stretch, I really didn't see much of that. I didn't see much of Euan, failing to contribute in the game and then sitting on the bench and pouting. Like, for the most part, he would have his ups and downs. He would get out physical sometimes, and maybe he would complain about a call. But really, it wasn't this big picture thing. And really, the vibe that we got inside the locker room was actually that those guys actually really like Malik Euan.
Yeah, they love him. The throwing the hands up thing got on my nerves.
Sure.
And it was like relentless during the tournament. It's like every play, like, dude, he'd make the shot and he's still doing it. It's like, come on, man. But yeah, no, I get that for sure. My thought process on this with Euan is if you've got a bird in hand, you got to keep that, man. And he'll be paid handsomely for his services or whatever. But for people who think you're just going to go out there and be able to replace him with a third big that's going to be more productive and do it cheaper, I got bad news for you. That is not going to be a thing. So if you're going to spend, if you're going to pay up to get a Santos or an Ndonga or Paulo Sarua, who the hell ever, I just don't know that you could do better than having Malik Euan there as your third big. If Malik Euan enters the transfer portal, he will get paid 7 figures and go be a starter for a high major team.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. Washburn Idol, appreciate super chat. Goes, I take Clifford the Big Red Dog at the 5 as long as he didn't forget the last 4 years of college experience he had built up once he got to Fayetteville. So,
hey,
I mean, listen, Clifford the Big Red Dog is high up in that portal ranking list right now. So you may have to get into some sort of negotiation or extortion, as you say, to try to get Clifford the Big Red Dog here. So,
the other thing I liked about Euan is he's a guy who doesn't command crazy minutes to give you a lot of production in there. So yeah, like have a higher motor and everything like that. But he was an elite level offensive rebound. He had over 100 offensive rebounds. He played 21 minutes per game. You know what I mean? He's a guy that you can throw it in there who can score for you and stuff right away. I think there's a lot of value in that. So I'd keep him around if I could.
Well, also too, it's like maybe I'm just giving too much of the benefit of the doubt, but it's like if Cal wants him, I'm like, then yes, let's go. Like you don't think if he was a problem or if he was causing issues or having these issues with the locker or whatever, that Cal after a year would be like, all right, man, listen, we're not doing that again. See you later. It's like, but if Cal's wanting to keep him and wanting him to stay on campus, I don't think that he's just doing that knowing that could cause problems or be problematic. I just don't see that being the case. So it's like, hey, if Cal wants a guy on his team again the next season, there's probably a good reason as to why, because he can help and he can contribute. And that's how I feel about Malik Euan, man. It's like, and you mentioned it, Andrew, it's like in the locker room, those players liked him. Now, because I think it was maybe yesterday, can't remember exactly, but somebody brought up, I didn't like Malik Euan's demeanor when you guys were interviewing him in the locker room and stuff. It's like, yeah, but I don't care about that as far as play on the court. Like, I don't care if somebody wants to talk to us or not. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be cool. But if they're going out there and they're doing their job on the basketball court, then they don't owe us anything. So that's more important. I think most people.
I think that's just his personality a little bit, and
right.
Kind of a reserved guy. And we, I mean, even some of the guys on the team kind of joked with us about that, of kind of like, being like, oh yeah, you Mr. Talkative over here or whatever. And that video Carter being like, why are you always so mad, man? Why are you doing that? Like it's just kind of how he is. And I'm with you, John. That like, if you're weird with us, but you go out there and you play hard, cool. That's what I'll sign up for. And I think that's much more of a likely outcome than I think people realize.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's what's crazy is that there was going to be some football talk on this show that we are going to get into. But hey, sometimes blessings or manna from heaven, as they call it, when it comes to content. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, but only for a little bit. Because again, we're going to practice today for Razorback football. We're going to watch it. We're going to have some breakdowns of it afterwards. So be sure to tune into that because we're going to. It's at least our first ability, or at least our first chance to go out there and actually see the roster and the guys. And I don't know how familiar it's going to be compared to what it was a year ago with Pittman. Is it going to be completely different? Don't know, but we're still going to break it all down there too. And also Razorback baseball is 3 p.m., right? First pitch today. Steel leaves. Oh, 6 p.m. Okay. Well, then whoever sent out that schedule was wrong. So either way, 6 p.m. tonight will be the game with Missouri State and Springfield. So that'll be fun as well. I may have to save some of this stuff, like the Will Wade. I'm sure you guys saw that with his man. That guy just is so good at the villain. He's so good at being the snake of it all. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and play that. I want to get to this because we talk a lot of Will Wade. This guy in his introductory press conference with LSU just never ceases to amaze me.
I think some of the things have been mischaracterized on how I left, but I'm not going to get into I don't want to get it. I learned long ago. I'm not going to get into a back and forth on all of that. The people who need to know. And look, everybody has to, when there's a situation like this, everybody has to cover has to cover. Let's put it that way. And so I'm not, I'm at peace with how I left. I'm at peace with what we did. And, look, I mean, they're pretty mad for a coach they didn't think was very good. So, I don't,
I just love how he knows and he's aware of how things look, how the situation is, but he still finds a way to almost like twist that knife in there. Be like, oh yeah, even though a lot of people had issues with the way I left and the way I did things and all that, well, they're the ones that are pretty mad if they didn't think I was any good. It's like, man, that guy's just electric at being a heel, as you would say, Andrew.
Is he under the impression that if any sitting high major basketball coach left after 1 year and went to any other place, let alone a school that he had been fired for cause at, that it wouldn't be he's like, oh, I understand you guys, you have to cover it. It's like, yeah, you're an ACC coach who just left to go back to the school that fired you. Like, that's a massive story. Like, of course we're going to cover it. Like, I don't understand why he's like throwing that like it's like shade. He's like, oh yeah, you guys are talking about me. It's like, yeah, that's how this thing works. This is big time college basketball, dude. Like, what, you thought you were just gonna do this and nobody would notice? Like, what?
Yeah, he's incredible. I can't wait to see what he does at SEC basketball media days. And I'm sure that he won't be frustrating that when Arkansas has to play him probably twice this upcoming season, that no one's going to, hate his demeanor on the court or the way that, he looks or anything like that. Because that was all the rage, it felt like, for when he was there. And now that he's back and probably worse than ever. So I can't wait to see how it's going to happen with him. But still some great stuff there. But, well, fellas, any final thoughts before we roll out of here for the day?
No, I don't really have any final thoughts. I'm excited about today's additions to the transfer portal. Watch the McDonald's game.
Yeah, I'm excited about all the news. Well, not excited about the Michigan State game being in Detroit, but I'm excited that we had some news to cover here on today's show. And we're just getting started for the workday, man. We're going to go out and watch some football, which I am, believe it or not, looking forward to doing. Looking forward to going out there and getting a look at the pig out on the gridiron. Also looking forward to keeping an eye on that McDonald's All-American game to see our future pigs, and looking forward to watching Arkansas play baseball in Springfield. Hopefully it doesn't go poorly, but no matter what, you guys have a great Woo Pig afternoon.
Yeah, and we're going to have it all right here. So you better subscribe if you haven't already to Inside Arkansas. Follow us on all of our social medias at Inside Arkansas as well. We're going to have full coverage of all Razorback athletics right here on Inside Arkansas. And that'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, Curtis Wilkerson, and intern Cameron, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel, tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.